So right now we're headed up from Miami to Lauderdale Marine Center up in Fort Lauderdale. We're going to showcase this boat for the first time. I'm Will with Dennison Yachting, and today we've got something pretty special for you. Miami, the magic city, full of creativity, imagination, and ambition. A water world where anyone can be anyone. But a select few take it a step further. These are the people who shape ideas into things that change our lives, or inspire us enough to do something great ourselves. That feeling is essential to growth and reminds us that our senses always need sharpening. Remember, this is Magic City. What's in front of us isn't always what we see. Let me introduce you to ATALI. She's a classic cold molded mahogany masterpiece, built on spec in 2006 by the Italian yard de Cesari. Anytime you hear cold molded, think of intensive labor. This yacht took 19,000 hours to complete. And when you have a cold molded boat like this, especially one made out of mahogany that's almost impossible to rot, bug resistant, the life of the boat is almost endless. We'll go to the sport fishing market for a second. The most impressive sport fishing boats out there are built with the same process. And those boats are designed to go out in super rough water, no matter the condition. So we've taken that and put it here in one of the most classically styled yachts you could ever own. Take it wherever you want. You know this boat's going to perform and be capable of getting you there safely. Back in the Miami River, we're a moving art show. All this stainless and mahogany combined together, it's unbelievable. Before we begin our journey north to Fort Lauderdale, we're going to take a slight detour to Fisher Island. One of the greatest achievements for a shipyard is finding a balance between unique design and overall functionality. How a yacht looks versus how it's going to be used. For example, the stern of ATALI is a classic vintage yacht, but it doesn't look like much more than a transom, especially in today's world of beach clubs, which are the new normal. Well, incredibly enough, that's exactly what we have here. We open this hatch in the deck to find a set of mahogany stairs leading us to a huge teak platform. There's also a passerelle to port for med-style mooring situations. This also works well as a docking area for any one of her 3 tenders found on board. Speaking of which, let's follow Omar and Eric up to the bow and see how some of those are handled. You begin your journey forward with a glimpse of the Cesari logo, embedded within a breathtaking backdrop of multi-directional mahogany paneling. Her superstructure maintains that mahogany theme, broken up with simple yet clean spaces of white. We continue to walk along the warm teak runways, using the mahogany cap rail as a guide. These begin to taper as we continue through to the foredeck. We're here on the expansive foredeck of this boat. You might as well play tennis up here. It's huge. You can fit 2 tenders, probably more, all thanks to things like this knuckle crane, which basically means that it's able to pivot in more than one spot. It doesn't just stick straight out and rotate. It also has a joint in the middle, so you're able to kind of pick it up like an arm and actuate it off the side of the boat. Drop them over the side really easy. After the tender storage is a sun pad, perfect for lounging out and catching those Miami rays. You know, just by looking around, you might see some of these things like these cowl vents and think that's just an homage to a time gone by. They're really functional. They allow fresh air in while keeping moisture out to the cabins located below. Probably my favorite attention to detail found on this boat are found on the inboard side of the superstructure with these museum quality boat hooks. Personality can live in small places. Look at the way this railing falls gently into nothing. You've got the look, but you've also got all of the function of a boat that's meant to be used and taken places, not just look like a piece of art. Just aft of the anchors is an entire room beneath us, used for lines, fenders, and additional deck gear. This is one of the largest bosun lockers you're gonna find on any 29 meter. Oftentimes when people see yachts like this and you've got multiple toys, multiple cranes, they wonder why we have all this. Jet ski's kind of self-explanatory. This, a lot more functional. You just saw earlier us drop this back in place. They use this bridle to get it here. This is gonna be your go-to to get ashore, set up a spread, put the umbrellas up, have a beach picnic. This is the most versatile piece of equipment you're gonna have on this boat when you actually get to an island and wanna go explore. From here, we're gonna head up to the Sundeck and check out the second davit that's located up there. It's a slightly smaller one with a slightly smaller tender that these guys use primarily to teach their kids how to drive a boat with. It's also used really with the crew so they can go on little shore excursions on their own or run ashore and grab some provisions while you're out enjoying yourself with jet skis or maybe water skiing aboard this one. The design of the Sundeck is like the rest of the boat, simple and clean, in the best way possible. An aft-facing sunpad can be completely protected by a sail overhead that mounts high at the center, draping down on the corners. Similar to the railings forward, sweeping mahogany sides appear from nothing, rising to deflect the wind and safely lead us forward to the upper helm. Before we get there to starboard, a refrigerator with mahogany face. One of the rules of boating, or anything with an engine, prop, and wheel, is that they better be fun to drive. But describing ATALI in that way would be a massive understatement. Set the autopilot and cruise, or be transported back to those days when it was just two hands, a helm wheel, and the horizon in front of you. Captain Omar definitely has one of the coolest jobs out there. This upper station is finished in a mahogany with teak dash, neatly arranged with G Series Raymarine electronics, featuring 12-inch touchscreens, a Furuno autopilot, Humphree zero-speed stabilization controls, a VHF radio. This area is also equipped with a super helpful bow and stern thruster. One of the strongest design features is this mahogany radar arch with a spotlight mounted underneath the Raymarine radar. And all the way on top is a FLIR camera. Let's head from the Sundeck down a flight of stairs to the Aft Deck. So we're here on the Aft Deck, and it's one of the more subtly cool areas on board this boat. All the way aft here, we've got access to the beach club that you saw deploy earlier from the drone footage. Just below me here is the largest storage capacity on the boat. This is where the bikes are kept, dive tanks, anything of that nature, so it's ready to rock and roll right here at this swim step. My favorite part of this Aft Deck are these recessed winches, and they both have foot pedals, so docking is an absolute breeze should you need them. I love what this yacht has to offer for an alfresco dining experience. For some reason, this area kind of reminds me of the streets of France when we get to go to Cannes for the shows. The overhead lights, the double French doors leading out. It's a really intimate experience, enjoying your dinner with beautiful scenery around you. You can see from all the blends of the mahoganies and the teaks, the aftward-facing seating, just so well thought out. And I just love that everywhere you look on this yacht, attention to detail was key when they built it, from the fiddles on the side of this table to the compass rose found in the center and the teak cap rails that wrap around and encapsulate this seating area. It's the simplicity that makes this area so elegant. Now that we've seen the entire exterior, let's go ahead and move inside to the Salon. We walk inside the Salon, and throughout the entire interior, we're greeted by another retro feel on this modern classic. One of the most important features to point out is how tall every single room's ceilings are. I'm 5'10" on a good day, so everybody that walks in this boat's gonna be super comfortable. We've got a U-shaped seating area here with a dinette table for dining. This drops down to coffee table height and is adjacent to the TV, so it's just a well thought out, well placed area that you and your family are certainly gonna enjoy. As we glance around, you're gonna notice the stainless steel frame windows, giving you an extra seal so everything's gonna stay dry, even under the worst sea conditions. To starboard, we've got everything you need for dining with its own little home. If you head forward, it takes you to the galley and the helm. And if you were to head aft and starboard, it would take you to the master stateroom. We're greeted again by these tremendously tall ceiling heights. Centerline, we have a true king-size berth with nightstands and reading lights flanking either side. To port, we've got tons of storage and a little library along with L-shaped seating so you can cozy up with your favorite book in comfort and peace. Aft and to starboard, we've got the master head that continues to see the same warm, inviting interior woodwork. One thing that the current owners did in 2018 was add a second head, so it now functions as a his and hers with a full head and separate sink. So just for the Salon is the galley, and this is one of the more sophisticated thoughts that went into the build. Everything is easily accessible with tons of refrigeration, and best of all, while you're cooking and prepping, you've got 180-degree views of all the surrounding areas. How else would you want to prepare your meals for your family and friends? With all this classical styling, it's important to balance that look, and these fiddled travertine countertops accomplish just that. The 2 refrigerators and 2 freezers are Frigo Nautica, and the dishwasher as well as cooktop and oven are built by Miele. It's easily accessible by the crew. We'll come back to that crew quarters a little bit later. As we move forward from the Salon, on the starboard side, you'll see the AC/DC paneling, reminding us how beautiful this boat is. When you first walk up to the helm, on the aft side of the seat, you've got flag storage for all the flags you're gonna need when you go into different ports. At this helm, you're gonna find updated electronics that were done in 2018, Humphree zero-speed stabilization. So whether you're at the dock or on the hook, it's gonna be ultra comfortable. We also have bow and stern thrusters and autopilot built by Furuno. From the helm station, we walk forward down a flight of stairs, taking us to the guest staterooms. We're in the port side guest room right now, and we've got twin side-by-sides in both of these rooms, and they both also feature these Pullmans. They're typically kind of cumbersome and bulky, so it's really nice to have this gas assist setup. They come down real natural and you just walk away. Continuing forward in both staterooms, we've got the ensuite. Let's move forward to the VIP. Tremendously spacious room that does measure full beam. Forward on the bulkhead, we've got a flat screen TV, and to either side flanking the centerline queen, we have plenty of closet space. All 4 of these en-suites feature a bidet. We're gonna head from the guest staterooms, up the stairs, through the galley, and into the crew space. This boat's seen 14,000 nautical miles over the course of the last 4 years. What's important when you're doing that kind of trip? Well, for one, we gotta have cold storage. And as we walk down these stairs, just on the port side, you'll see another fridge. And equally crucial is dry storage, which we're gonna touch on in a second. And the third thing that's underrated by most is the comfort of the crew. This is a real crew mess. You've got a place to hang out, watch TV, with a separate head and shower. To starboard is a room with 2 bunks and a captain's quarter just aft. We mentioned how important dry storage is. Forward of the crew mess, under our feet, we can provision for up to 6 months here. Down here, we find the Cesari Watermaker, as well as the Humphree zero-speed stabilization that was added in 2018. After the crew mess, we enter the engine room, which again features unbelievably tall ceilings. There's room in here to work everywhere around the M70 MTU engines. These are capable of moving this vessel at a maximum speed of 26 knots. She cruises comfortably at 18, but has her most economical speed at around 13, giving you just about 1,000 nautical mile range. On the forward bulkhead, flanking the watertight door, we'll find the twin generators. And on the aft bulkhead, a FLIR thermal camera for Captain Omar to monitor the ship's systems while underway. When I first got on this boat, walking up to it, it just has a presence that screams, "Look at me, appreciate me." And that's pretty cool to witness because not a lot of yachts actually accomplish that kind of thing. But you know that the owners have also taken this boat 14,000 nautical miles in the 4 years they've owned it, all through the Mediterranean, all through the Bahamas. So you know you're getting something that yesterday got touched and used, it works. That's super cool, that's what a yacht's meant for. That wraps up our tour today here at LMC aboard this 2006 29-meter De Cesare. If you'd like to set up a time to see her for yourself, because she must be seen to be truly appreciated, contact me or my wife and partner, Carrie, anytime. Inspiring, that's my favorite word for this boat. I love this boat.